So, how many of you can tell the difference between platonic and romantic love? Hey ho, I'm in a tub, and now it's time for J Shower Thoughts. You see, the internet ruined a lot of people's perception of love, and I see it happening more frequently for men. I'm not too sure why though, but for now I won't get too deep into it. Fanfics, stories, all these fictional works of literature online raise our standards way too high, and they were made unintentionally or not in the way that kind of standard that we got from our stories is, well, the norm. Meaning that, like, in real life, relationships, we unknowingly or knowingly desire the stuff that happened in those books, which, as I said before, in turn warps a lot of people's ability to differentiate love being platonic or romantic. And the thing that makes it worse is that it can be both. In some cases, these signs, this kind of love, it can be interpreted as both. And since it's intertwined with one another, it's more difficult for people to identify what is what. As for me, well, buddy, listen, I never understood people's desperation for love. As soon as I found out I was asexual, I just stuck along with it. And shortly after that, it was also when I found out that I was take note, also a romantic. If you guys don't know what that means, asexual means that you have very little or no sexual attraction towards anyone, meaning you don't lust for anyone. While being a romantic is pretty much the same thing as asexual, except that you don't experience any romantic attraction towards anyone, meaning you don't have crushes towards anyone. You just want to be friends with them. Okay, how do I say this? There's actually a term for that, where aromantic people have like this kind of quote-unquote crush on someone, where instead of wanting to date them, they just want to be friends with them. I know there was a term, but I forgot what that was. Anyway, yeah, I was like that, and I was just observing the internet for a good while, like, and people's like behavior. I have no idea why I was doing that at the mere age of 12. Probably because I was really bored and just wanted to find out more about why the fuck these people are that desperate. And I mean, even now I never really got my answer. I still don't get them. I still don't get some of you guys. But what I do know is that so many goddamn people are so affection deprived. It's really sad. But you can't just generalize them like that. Okay, then tell me why shipping is always such a big deal in communities then. Tell me. Well, you can't. Because a lot of people online are affection deprived. You can't deny that. See, I have this thing that I stick to. I don't really know what to call it. I'll just call it a thing. So there's this thing where I swore to myself. No. Okay, I swore a pact to myself that whenever I see things that I don't like or I'm not in favor of, I immediately scroll. But in the case of ships, I can't do that anywhere, anytime, because they're everywhere. I have no problem with these pairings. It's just that, as I've said before, they're part of the things that I'm not in favor of, like specific pairings that I'm not in favor of. It's not that they're bad. It's just that I can't see them together in that sense. They would be better off as just friends. Meanwhile, people see them in that way, and I mean, okay, sure, who am I to stop them, right? So I just scroll. There's no use hating. And then, the more I see it, the more I encounter them, the more I kind of see why people resort to spouting hate comments in these kinds of posts. Because they probably did the same thing I did. They tried scrolling away, and then once they kept seeing it, they had enough, so they just decided to spout out hate comments in response to that frustration. And I mean, you'd see most of the other commenters, they'd be like, "Why are you commenting then? You know this kind of stuff will pop up more in the algorithm, right?" It's true. It's true. They're right. It will. But again, it's out of anger. Everyone is stupid when they're angry. Absolutely fucking stupid. They will not think. They will not consider how dumb their actions will make them after their tantrum is done. And yeah. And speaking of ships, I believe I have mentioned this in the first episode about why fandoms are so problematic. If you haven't checked that out, feel free to go and watch it. You don't have to watch the whole bit. It's like 30 minutes. I mean, you can let it out in the background. You don't have to watch through it. It's just me bopping my head in the video. Unless you're willing to watch that for 30 minutes, then okay, I'm not stopping you. But in that whole video, I chopped a lot of the portions up, and there is a portion where I was talking about shipping. So I haven't put the timestamps or anything, at least not yet. So you can just try and skip through that bit and watch that bit. But I know in that portion, I was talking about how the pairings that you ship are indicators of what your type is and how you would like your hypothetical relationship to be like. And yes, this thing is of course related to people's desperation for affection, or in other words, love. Most of the time, all of the time, people have their types because of something they're lacking in real life. It's not in terms of their personality, it's in terms of it's in terms of the lack of things around them, like what's not been given to them. For example, it can be like hugs, which is why your love language should be physical touch. Neglected, your love language would be quality time, and yeah, etc., etc. I think you get my gist. And your type would be someone who would fit your love language. Like if you're neglected, you would just want someone to be there with you all the time. But in turn, that does also give way to some toxic traits. Like if you were really attention deprived, no, not just affection deprived, attention deprived as well, you would either be clingy or detached, like on the far spectrum of either of those, no in between. And yeah, that's just that. You would be either on the far ends of those of the spectrum. I could use myself as an example, but if I'm being very honest, I don't really have a type. I don't have a definitive type. I just want friends, man. The last time I developed feelings for someone, I was depending my happiness for them. Do not intend for getting yourself into a relationship if your point was just to use them for your happiness. That is not good for both yourself and the other person. It will be severely damaging in the long term. No, I have not gone together with that person, and I don't think I will ever in the near future. or in the far future anyway, but never know, right? But anyway, back to my point. I don't think I will, because I still have my own issues to settle, and I'd rather not be dealing with all that kind of stuff right now, you know? Besides, you guys know the term love is blind, right? I mean, of course you guys do. It is a very popular quote, because love really is blind. I was talking to my friends about, okay, well, it was a brief mention about, like, my old feelings and whatnot, and holy fuck, I was so cringy! No, not just cringy, I was being borderline creepy! I was stalking? Hello? Oh, fuck no! I would rather die than do that shit again. Hell no! Hell no! Oh! Not saying that I'm aromantic again, but I'm saying that I would rather die than stalk someone because I like them. Oh god. Oh. I mean, it's happened already. It's happened already. I can't undo that. I can't undo the creepy. I mean, everyone has done the creepy. Most likely, a lot of people have done even worse things than I have. Yeah. Okay, you know what? We'll just go on to the next bit, alright? Fuck this. So yeah, you can tell how bad my desperation was back then. It makes you look absolutely cringy. You will absolutely cringe at yourself all these years later, and take it as a lesson learned. Don't get into a relationship just because you think that this person might solve all your problems and all your happiness just by being there. Sure, it might be good for you, but what about the other person? Do they even reciprocate? And if not, then okay, that's even worse. But if they do, that's also bad. You know why? 'Cause it will make you rely on them even more to a fault where you might get to a point that you are entirely dependent on them, like a baby to their mom. It's bad. But the problem is, until someone points it out for you and directly calls you out for it, you would have likely stayed in that delusion for a very long time. Because one case of it is TikTok. Seriously, the amount of videos I saw about that, like the videos where they're all like and share to get the partner of your dreams. Well, not exactly like that, but it's somewhat similar to that. Like, it's worded in the same way as that. Sure, like that's gonna work. People, they do that just to get views and will continue to delude people just for views. It's whack as hell, but they do the same kind of video every goddamn time, and they will still get millions of views because these poor, pitiful people, all of us, are attention deprived. You know, people say that to love others, you need to love yourself first. Okay, obviously, of course, it will be difficult to all the folks with big self-esteem issues, but personally, in my own experience, you don't need to love yourself yet. Besides, there's no use forcing it. Of course, if you have self-esteem issues, that's obviously gonna take a lot of time. Heck, even hey, I don't hate myself today. I'm pretty content with who I am. Is enough. Well, I mean, that's for me anyway. Not too sure about you guys though. 'Cause the way I see it, as long as I'm not hating myself and not constantly picking on myself, I'm good to go. It's not like this will inspire anyone or anything. I just wanted to put it out there because why not? That, and it's pretty difficult to form purely long-lasting platonic relationships as is. Because, I mean, you can live with your friends until you die. No? Like, you don't need to date or get married just so you don't die alone. That's another way. But what if they all die before me? And I actually end up dying alone? Well, is it really that bad? I mean, honestly, it depends on how you're going out. If you're getting decapitated, then of course, that's one of the only cases where you'd hate to die alone, but really, who would want to bother decapitating an old person? I hate to admit it, but I'm pretty sure it's the younger folks that the murderers would rather decapitate. I'll be honest, I've never seen a gruesome murder involving an old person. But anyway, back to the topic. What's really so bad about that? 'Cause, I mean, all of us wouldn't want to die alone. All of us would want to spend the rest of our lives living it with someone or a few people by our side. Everyone would hate to die alone, as I've already mentioned. And so much so that it's like a fear of ours. But if you keep dwelling into that fear, you will actually end up dying alone. Like how if you're so focused in avoiding that one thing, that thing that you've been avoiding will end up happening to you because of how obsessed you were with not letting that thing happen to you. It's like, how do I put this? I feel like there's a term for it. I mean, I guess it's karma, but it's not really karma. Probably luck. It's this weird form of luck. Like, if you just let it be, if you accept the if you accept the fact that you dying alone is inevitable, then you're actually most likely not dying alone. I mean, I can't be so certain of that, obviously, because I'm still young. But that's what I'm confident in, at least. I really would have more to say, but I'll be very honest. The answer to this question is really simple, but it's also really, really, really complex. The simple answer would be that in this society, we're all very affection deprived. We're all very attention deprived, and that's because of the, countless generational trauma that had been passed down, and that our elders had made no effort to go to therapy for. And now it's our job. Well, mostly our job, I guess. But kudos to the older folks that are going to therapy. I wish we could go to therapy. My generation doesn't have to shoulder all this. I mean, again, I could be generalizing, but looking at the state of the internet, it seems to be that case. And, well, people are just distracting themselves from it. Just so they don't have to face the truth. I mean, I also do the same thing. There's like no point, but there's no point hiding it, but like, we gotta talk about this once in a while. I mean, is it gonna really solve anything? Well, probably not, but it sure beats not talking about it at all, like ever, like keeping it repressed. it really helps you process things a little more. Even though it might not even help at all. I mean, who knows? It might actually do help you in a weird sense, I guess. I don't know. And in the complex answer, the complex form of answering it, it's because of each person's unique experiences that causes every single one of us to be dysfunctional for love in this weird way. Like the fact that all of us have experienced very unique experiences to each and all of us is what makes this whole thing so complex, complicated. Any synonym for complicated. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, what I said, any synonym for complicated. Because sometimes we share the same experiences but react differently. Or maybe it's the other way around or something. It really depends. All of us have very unique responses to things, and yeah. I mean, there's really no use hating on people who very obviously look like they're damaged. Because I mean, it would add fuel to fire, and I mean, some of you would probably find it really amusing to see the flames burn brighter. But to me, I see that there's no point. Just leave him be. Like, the world's already burning bright as it is. Might as well just let it simmer down for a bit. I don't see the point of the flames growing any brighter, you know? And yeah, that's all. Okay, this made me sound a little too serious, but I'll be honest. I'll be frank with you guys. I'm not that serious about it. It's just that I really didn't have anything to say, 'cause this was a very, very easy topic to talk about, even though it stretched out for 23 minutes now. But still, it's fine for me. I don't know. I thought it might be important for you guys. I mean, of course it's important for me. Why wouldn't it be important for me too? But yeah, it just let me ponder for a little while longer as I record this, you know? Alright? So yeah, that's it for today's episode. Whew. I am recording this a day right before I'm posting it. Oh my god. I still have a lot of stuff to do. So now, in the meantime, take good care of yourselves. Oh my god, I have never said that ever. Well, anyway, regardless, still, do take care of yourselves. And yeah, may you be at peace with yourself. And thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. Oh my god, there's the typical YouTube outro. I mean, of course. But obviously you aren't obliged to stay subscribed. You can unsubscribe if you wish. So, yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, afternoon, midnight, whatever. And yeah, see you in the next one.